Next thing I want to do is unbox these cool looking lights here. So these are the wooden pole street lights from Woodland Scenics. Just plug and play. I've been wanting to use these for a long time, but finally getting around to it. So what we have here is pretty nice packaging, and this is the linker plug. This is what you plug all your wires into, and then plug this into the light hub, and then the lights themselves here, which by first glance up close they look pretty good. I'm kind of surprised with the detail they got going on there. They use a magnet wire on some, looks like plexiglass kind of material for the pole there. Go ahead and take these off. Try not to move them around too much because the insulation on the magnet wires will rub off. And we'll do the wall mount gooseneck lights for the building. So pretty much the same thing, nicely packaged. And the detail on these ones are, again, very good. So they say you want to hook up no more than 3 lights on these linker plugs here. So 3 lights per port on the light hub. So what I have here are 3 dots, one here, and one off camera, where I want to drill my holes. And here on the yard office, I think I want to do one above the door. And since there's an awning here in the way, I'll probably put it right in the center there. So let me get some things prepped up, and we'll start drilling some holes here. So per the instructions, it recommends a 1/16 drill bit. Since my layout is about 3 inches thick from top through the bottom of the wood, I don't have a 1/16 bit long enough, but what I do have is a 1/8 bit, which is plenty long. So I'll go ahead and mount this up. Went ahead and checked everything underneath, and it looks like we're all good to go. Here we go. Alright, so now that I got my holes drilled, obviously we have a bigger diameter hole than what our pole is. So what I did to fix this problem is took some styrene and I drilled 5/64 holes and just cut them into little squares there. As you can see, the pole fits in there nicely, nice and snug. So that'll give us a good base for the poles to sit on. And normally what I would do, if this was next to a road, usually just paint that a concrete color. That'd give you a nice little concrete footing for the pole to stand on. But since it's going to be in dirt, we can just go back later on and cover it up with sand. So let me go ahead and get our footings ready, and we'll keep going here. Alright, so next what I'm going to do here is going to take a hobby knife here and carve out a little square. Then we can test fit our little base there, and that's good. Kind of a press fit is kind of what you want to do. That looks good there. I'll go ahead and do the rest, and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I have all my footing set up, so next thing I want to do is take our little base here and we'll feed the magnet wires through. And we're going to want to run this all the way to the base of the light. You got 3 feet of wire here, so they didn't skimp on that part. And voila. So next thing I want to do is feed this wire through down the layout. So to help me do that, what I have here is an old piece of end scale rail, and what I like to do is put the wires right in that little crease there, and I'll take some blue painter's tape, wrap it nice and tight, just like so, and I'll feed it down the hole. Once it's through, grab the rail and the end part where the tape is. Make sure the wires are out of the way, and you can slide that right off. Since my shelf's right in the way, it's giving me a hard time, but you can then take the rail out and pull the rest of your wires all the way through. Slam her down. And there you have it. So I obviously want to glue it down, so we'll do that next. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, no rocket science here. So what I want to do, take the light out, and what I have here is some glue all. Seems to work pretty well for me. And go ahead and just give a little dab in there. And with the help of your hobby knife, guide your base back in. And stick it in there. So it's obviously going to want to move around on you, which is okay. Once it sets up a little bit, you can keep playing with it. And what I like to do is use a square here, and I'll set it in different spots and just eyeball it. And once I got it to where I think it's good, I'll take some crazy glue, and just zap it into place. Until my cat knocks it over, it's good to go. So I'll go ahead and do the rest and we'll move on. So as the pole lights for the yard are drying, the next thing I want to do is tackle the yard office. So let's go ahead and drill some holes in that building there and install some gooseneck lights. Alright, so if you see the gooseneck light here, you can see that the wires go off to the side. So I'm going to need to drill my hole a little bit off center. So right here on the yard office, I have a SAD, also known as a small ash drill bit. I'm not sure on the size. So I'm going to be going a little off center, probably about right there. And yeah, I think that'll do it. So I'm going to go ahead and drill that. Just big enough for our magnet wires to fit through. And now we're ready to glue this thing in place. So what I have here is some Zap super glue dabbed out on a piece of the packaging. So I kind of let it dry for a little bit and let it coagulate, that way it gets a little bit thicker. And just roll it on there. So this is kind of one shot, one kill here, so got a few seconds to play with it. I was kind of expecting the light to be a little bit more of a 45-degree angle. But I guess I can adjust it. But there you have it. Not too bad. So after gluing the lights on the yard office using the same method, I'm going to feed the wires through. And we're going to pull it a little closer. And now I'm going to want to put some glue. It's just in a couple spots. Just to hold it in place, and then I'll re-glue it later with some stronger glue from the outside. And there we have it. Okay, so what I did is drilled a hole just large enough for the end of the linker plug to fit through, and go ahead and plug it into the port. Alright, so after you get your wires all bunched up, and you're going to want to untangle them, strip the ends. Sorry about the lighting. I usually do that with a lighter. Quick little flash with the lighter will burn off the lacquer coating. And then you want to twist the red with the red and the black with the black. And you take your linker plug here and press red inwards and stick the wire in, and it'll grab onto it. Do the same with the black wires, and there you have it. That's pretty painless right there. Hardest part is just climbing underneath the layout, of course. So I'll go ahead and do that for the yard office lights, and we'll see if they work. So here are the Woodland Scenics just plug lights installed in the yard. So let me hit the lights and we'll see what they look like with the lights off. So as you can see, they're plenty bright, especially the one over the door at the office. But I really like them. They're very cool, and I think the color temperature is just right for an incandescent light. And overall impression, I'm impressed. I like it a lot. They're not very hard to hook up. You know, the details real nice. And another cool feature, if you're not familiar with the light hub, it does have a dimmer control on it. So for instance, I think this light here over the door is just a little too bright. So what I can do is, turning the lights back on, come down underneath here to the light hub, and there's 4 dimmer controls on there. But we only have 1 and 2 hooked up at the moment, so we can go ahead and adjust those. That looks a little better. So again, my overall impression is definitely a product worth trying out. I'll probably buy more of them. I just got to figure out where to install the next set that I want to buy.